This looks elegant. This looks vulgar. This looks elegant.
This is one of my reels that went viral. A lot of people disagreed, of course, but a lot of people agreed as well, showing that there is indeed such a thing as vulgar nails. But what is it exactly that makes nails look vulgar? Is there a way to have fun with your nails without it impacting how you are perceived? What are the rules that make nails look either elegant, either vulgar? And how can you play with those rules so that you can have fun with your nails without being disrespected? I used to work as a lawyer on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, and the nail dress code was extremely strict. Nails had to be short, no color was admitted, only shades of nude and maybe a deep red. Would wearing any other color have made me less respectable as a lawyer? Yes. 100%. And the reason is that nails send a strong signal about who you are, your cultural background, your level of education, the ways you're going to behave in society, and how you perceive yourself as a woman. And so to unpack this and give you the power to decide how you want to be perceived, I'm going to show you how the length, the shape, and the color of your nails send signals about who you are and how you can adapt them to get what you want. The reason why long nails are perceived as inelegant or even vulgar is because they're subconsciously associated with a lack of hygiene. Because if you don't cut your nails, they naturally grow. And if you're not able to cut your nails and groom, it basically conveys that your life situation doesn't allow for that kind of self-care. The length of your nails is also a strong class indicator because aristocratic and bourgeois values value short and discreet nails. Long nails are considered theatrical and convey a lack of education or an ignorance of those upper class values. And lastly, long nails have a sexual fetishism, depending on the length of the nails, connotation. And that makes women with long nails directly be perceived as more sexually available. So basically, the longer your nails, the least clean you look, the least educated you look, and the more sexually available you are perceived, which if you don't want is good to be aware of. It's a scale. It doesn't mean that as soon as your nails go just above your finger, then all of a sudden you're sexy and less clean and more sexually available. It's playing with the scale of length that I'm going to show you how to do. The shape of your nails also influences how you are perceived, and that comes down to how the brain reads shapes and intentions. Soft shapes are going to equate roundness, softness, welcomeness, whereas sharp shapes are going to equate weapons, attack, and threat, as well as dominance. That's why stiletto nails read as dominant, predatory, and confrontational at a subconscious level. When you see a woman with long stiletto nails, you're not going to automatically, subconsciously give her the features of somebody soft, nice, calm, and welcoming, even though she might be. And likewise, pointy or squared nails also have a sexual connotation because they are used in subcultures to express that kind of domination. And in general, and that's not only about nails, when an aesthetic is strongly coded with sexual power dominance, it shifts from elegant to provocative in the mainstream subconscious. You cannot be elegant using provocative or sexually connoted elements in your appearance. And just like for length, shapes are also a scale. So the rounder, the more elegant, soft, and the sharper, the more inelegant or vulgar. Bright colors are also considered more vulgar than muted tones. And that is because they clash with elegant aesthetics. Elegant aesthetics are very much about the person. A skilled, elegant person is going to enhance their natural features through their choice of clothing, of makeup, of grooming, etc. But the focal point when you encounter such a person is to see the person in their globality. Bold colors hijack attention and take the focus away from the person as a whole to one accessory. And when the accessory is louder than the person, then it's unrefined because it shows that you don't have the education and the skills to highlight your best features in a homogeneous way. And the second reason is that muted tones convey calm, centeredness, peace, whereas bold colors convey boldness, loudness, poppiness and energy, which is the opposite of how an elegant person likes to be perceived. What you want to avoid is a highly saturated color. But if you go down to the black or gray versions of that color, you're always going to hit the elegant version of that color. If color really makes you feel alive, then go rather for pastel colors. So it's your color but desaturated, and that's going to convey more of a soft, slightly childish tone, but it's going to be much better than the bold, saturated version. And finally, bright colors catch attention. And somebody who wants to catch attention is subconsciously going to be perceived as somebody who is insecure, because they need attention of others to feel better about themselves. So when wearing a lot of bold colors, you subconsciously send that signal that you have something to prove because you need to be noticed, even though it might not be true. So is there a way at all to use long shapes or bright colors without expressing domination or sexual availability? Absolutely. But it depends how you place the cursor on how you want to be perceived. Color, shape, and length work in symbiosis. Short, squared, and nude is going to be more elegant than long, pointy, and nude. But short, round, and bold color is going to be more elegant than long, squared, and nude. Where you decide to set those three cursors is going to impact your vulgarometer. So it's up to you to see where you want to put the cursor, depending on the kind of social situation that you're attending. For example, if I'm going to a job interview or an apartment viewing that I want to rent, I'm going to put my vulgarometer to 0, because that's the best way to ensure that I am going to be perceived as responsible, clean, having, my life together, and not sexually available in those kind of situations is better. If I'm going to an elegance party, I'm going to push my cursors a little bit more because I want to be bordering the sexy if that's something that interests me. But I still want to stay closer to elegant. If I'm going to a frat party, then maybe I don't mind going beyond the sexy part of my vulgarometer. Then I can push all my length, color, and shape cursors all the way because that's the fun of it. But there is something that you should be aware of if that's something that you decide to do, is that, unfortunately, respect stops at sexy. When you pass the sexy, you lose the respect. And that's because status in society is about unavailability. So the more unavailable, inaccessible you are, the more status you're going to have in the eyes of others. So when you display a lot of things, including your nails, that have a sexual connotation or I need to be noticed connotation, then you are sending the signal that you want to be chosen. And that is going to make you actually too available. That decreases the perception of how special you are and therefore how high your status is. And this is sadly a natural human bias. It's the exact same thing that drives supply and demand in economics. So what about nail art? Can nail art be the way to express your personality and not lose that status? It's true that nail art is expensive. It's a real skill that takes years to master. So it's not exactly something that screams cheap. And although nail art doesn't have a sexual connotation, it actually has a childish connotation. And that's because it activates the same visual codes as toys, candy wrappers, lots of colors, cute symbols like flowers, pearls, stars, moons, etc. So with nail art, you're not going to be perceived as somebody vulgar or sexually available, but you're not going to be perceived as somebody responsible either. Just imagine a Fortune 500 CEO with nail art. That wouldn't really cut it. Is there one way to have long, colorful nails and still be high status? The sad answer is not really. If you want to convey status, you cannot display things that say anything else than status. The harsh truth is that long, colorful nails are going to play against you to land a high-paying job. That men will consider you more available and less rare, and that your potential landlord is going to consider you more clean if your nails are short and nude than if they are long and colorful. So in my experience, if you care about getting what you want in life, it's better to display elegant nails in public and keep your funky nails for private or with friends. You can do that easily with press-ons, for example. And if you get your manicure done professionally, so you can't take it off, then still stick to things that are very neutral and elegant and maybe a little accent nail, but just this accent nail is going to decrease how trustworthy you are perceived. The human brain makes decisions in split seconds. So your appearance is everything you have for people to put you in a category because they can't spend a year getting to know the real you. So when you meet your lawyer who is going to defend you in trial, you're going to be very happy that they look serious, because even though they might not be, at least you're going to feel reassured in that moment that you're in good hands. And although we've been talking about nails in this video, don't forget that your appearance is obviously way more than your nails, and that you can compensate the inelegance of your nails with your appearance. Every single thing that we wear has a connotation. It's either elegant, either casual, either sporty, either a bit neglected. And when you put all of these elements of your outfit together, they are going to make one final connotation, which is the energy that you're going to convey or how you're going to present. The higher your elegance score, the more respect you're going to get and the more status you're going to convey. And the more vulgar your nails, the more they will decrease your elegance score. Concretely, that's a personal choice, but I never go under 70% elegant in my outfits, depending on the situation. If I'm taking a job interview, if I'm at a customer meeting, or if I'm visiting an apartment to be a potential tenant, or anywhere where I have to be chosen, I'm going to be 100% elegant. In my job as a lawyer, 100%. In my job as a marketer, 80%. 80% elegant, 20% statement or cool, so with a bit of a funky edge. If I'm going to a dinner or a party, I'll do 80% elegant, 10% casual statements, so maybe bold earrings, and 10% sexy. So maybe I'll reveal a bit of a shoulder, maybe I'll reveal a bit of my back, maybe I'll have something that is a bit closer to reveal the shape of my body. If I'm going to brunch at some friends, for example, I'm going to do 70% elegant because that's the core of my personality, or at least what I want to convey, 20% cool, stylish, and 10% laid back, because with friends, I feel like I can be a little bit more chill and relax. And when I do groceries, I will do 70% elegant, 30% chill, because I don't want to be overdressed to go grocery shopping, because usually that gets you some looks and it's nice at the grocery store to not be noticed. So that's where I'll have sneakers, a bit of a more laid back bag, maybe I'll be wearing jeans, but I'll have my stylish coat, proper grooming. I won't go with just my messy bun. And if you like this type of deep dive, I invite you to join the Cercle Mademoiselle, which is my private YouTube membership, where I take you with me into the circle of high status educated women. The level of conversation is higher. I take the example deeper so that you can really understand them. And I basically talk and behave with you like I do with my friends and my business partners. If that is an adventure you want to join, I invite you to click the join button just under this video, and I'll be very happy to welcome you inside the Cercle Mademoiselle. So at the end of the day, the whole conversation about elegant or vulgar nails is not to shame anybody, but it's to empower women to be conscious and to actively create how they want to be perceived. It's already a difficult world to navigate. We already have to prove so much more than if we were men. So having those skills is going to enable you to unlock things in your life that you couldn't otherwise. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I invite you to subscribe, and I will see you very happily in the next one. À bientôt!